Ladies and gentlemen, I've come to a terrible conclusion for those of us on the left and the far left. The fact is, Donald Trump, just as Bill Clinton, George Bush, and Barack Obama, will be an 8-year president. It's a terrible, horrible, vicious truth to come to terms with, but the fact of the matter is, you've got to let these things play out. You've got to let, when America comes, when middle working class America, the swing states of America especially that decide the elections, come to a conclusion on somebody they like, they're not going to leave that person in a matter of 2-4 years. It's not going to happen. He has an 8-year lifespan. Do I think Ivanka Trump or Mike Pence will run in 2024 and win? That's very difficult to see. I mean, the Reagan-Bush stuff lasted 12 years. I really don't know. But I know this much. Donald Trump is the right-wing populist. Again, we've seen this in Europe. We've seen this in the Philippines. We've seen it countless times. And I'm not necessarily talking about the level of fascism and Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini. Obviously, that's the most extreme version of it. But I'm talking about sort of right-wing populism within a capitalist Western society, especially the parties you see in Europe, and I'm sure Canada has them as well. Donald Trump is that, mixed with the celebrity aspect, mixed with the billionaire aspect, mixed with the fact that the guy, whatever condition he has, I'm bipolar, he may be bipolar, he's some sort of creative, strange 72-year-old thinker, you know, who seems like was jealous of Gwen Stefani's pay for The Voice, said to NBC, I want more, and then wanted to show his value to NBC, and it all went off the rails, and he ended up being more powerful for the right than anything they had conjured up the last 8 years. And we're talking about the fact that they won the House in 10 and the Senate in 14, guys like Cruz, Rubio, Jeb Bush, Bobby Jindal, whatever, whoever else you want to mention, Scott Walker. Donald Trump was more powerful and popular for the right than any of that. And I don't see it washing out in 2020. It's not going to happen. You know, if you get the minority vote out more in the big cities of the swing states, Milwaukee, Detroit, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, maybe it could happen when you're talking about Cory Booker, you're talking about Kamala Harris, but I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump even beat them. What I'm saying is, overall, if I were a betting Vegas man, I predict 8 years for this guy. You've got to let these things ride out. It ain't going to happen. So we're going to have to live in our wallow in depression and disturbing and negative chemicals in the brain, or be medicated or go to therapy. And then when I'm 34 years old, maybe I'll turn on the TV one day and relive the glory days of when I was 18, and the next Barack Obama will win. Maybe that'll be Beto O'Rourke's turn, the Texas politician who's on his way up. I don't know who it's going to be, but I know this much. We're not going to relive 2008 in 2020. It's far too soon. It's far too soon. When I look back to things that I loved from 2008, like Heath Ledger's Joker and other things like that, well, you know, maybe Joaquin Phoenix will be a really good Joker. We'll relive some of those nice things. We can know that Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Maybe the 2020 candidate will win the popular vote. But basically, everything is all the wallow and despair of the far-right rule America, who has reason to be angry. When you talk about the working class being fucked over, and you talk about capitalism run amok, and you talk about low wages, and you talk about humans behaving like barbarians, yeah, absolutely. Working class America has this, white America has the same complaints that are valid as women, gays, working class minorities, and everything else. The answer to me is socialism and Marxism, certainly not right-wing populism. I think that's a contradictory term. I don't think you can have right-wing populism. It can call itself that, but it isn't really populism, because it's not for the popular group. It's for the working class, the white, straight, upper class, wealthy male. You know, but I think this goes to something evolutionary. The ultimate, look up eusocial on Wikipedia, E-U-S-O-C-I-A-L, the very communal species of the animal kingdom. You're going to see species like ants talked about. You're not going to see humans, Homo sapiens, the mammal primate that we are. We do not care about the community, we care about the individual. So it is no shocker that in our most powerful flavor of civilization, Western civilization in 2018 CE, in America, the most powerful industrial country, that we would exhibit what humanity is all about. That America is the perfect representation of what humanity has been all about from the beginning. We may have evolved from you know, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, all the different stages of technology and development, and through the slave state, feudal state, etc., etc. We may have evolved in some sort of way, but basically capitalist America, even with its civil liberties, I'll say that the civil liberties are certain evolutions from the past feudal more bent, on the evolutionary scale. Obviously, feudalism and anti-civil liberty civilizations mirror more the non-fully standing bent down male, and the fully standing upright male. Certainly America is not that, but it's a little more in that direction with the civil liberties. However, when it comes to capitalism and how we do our economics and finances, we're the perfect representation for the brutal, barbaric Homo sapien. That is what the human is. And it won't be until, if it ever happens, we evolve into a better species that we become eusocial and for the community. Until then, I put my faith in ants, and I can at least know there are a few species in the animal kingdom that look out for everybody. But for now, it's certainly not the human, and it's certainly not America, and may never happen. 2024, perhaps a little bit of a brighter day, but for right now, the day that I write this, September 8th, 2018, 9/8/18, go ahead and count on the dark days continuing on, and try to make the most light out of your dark days. Find things that you like, but don't look to the White House, presidential politics. You can even look to certain House and Senate elections and gubernatorial elections, maybe a little more in the direction of what you like, but don't look to Washington, D.C. for any sort of happiness for at least another 6 years.